I'll walk with a 3.8. And now that's a message to people who are thinking that they can't do it with PTSD or TBI or things they're going through in their situations in life. You can do it if you want it. Just stay on that horse, just ride it. You know?
Great motivation. Just got to find a way to stick through
Yeah,
it. And the
yeah.
thing that it's
Go ahead. And my motivation, just me traveling the world and speaking and having these conversations candidly with people and understanding that, hey, you can be that light, that beacon, just stand up. A lot of people don't know I deal with a lot of mental health things. And it may look good on one side of the camera, but the other side of the camera, these messages that I tell myself in these arenas I get in, I'm really talking to myself out loud. I'm really motivating myself to say, JayR, you can do it. And I tell people like that. I talk to entrepreneurs, I talk to military, I talk to business people, corporate America, I talk to students, I talk to social media influencers. I've helped everybody with this situation and let them know that no matter what, even when I get my doctorate, I will still have the Long Beach hat on. I will still be me because this is me. This is what it looks like. I believe that Green Lantern was that good movie when they saw that a Green Lantern was in every species of the world. I feel that I am that person in the Matrix from where I'm from.
This is going to be a fun one to record, catching up with JayR after our speaking engagement together for Daryl's event. Big shout out to Daryl for putting it together. JayR, thanks for taking some time to come on the podcast.
Definitely, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
I was very excited to meet you, speak alongside him as one of the speakers, and after learning his story, his path in entrepreneurship, I knew it was a no-brainer to invite him into the show. Everyone in Florida, especially for you, this is a contact you want to make right now. He is all over the world now, which is impressive, but it didn't start like that. He went through a lot of adversity and he found himself now on the other end, shining, doing great. Let's start this journey from wherever you feel comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. I'm grateful to be on your platform. Also, just reconnect with you and be able to tell the world my story and what it looks like from our eyes and everything like that. I don't know if you want me to start from the beginning of my entrepreneurship journey from growing up in California, born and raised. I saw a lot of gang violence. My mother died of AIDS. She was a crackhead. I was born a crack baby. So that kind of adversity right there, I started off with earlier off in my youth. Dibble and dabbled in gangs and all that stuff that comes with Long Beach and Compton and LA. And then I saw my dad start churches. So he was an entrepreneurship in churches and pastoring and bishops and doing things like that. And I remember when I think it was my seventh grade year, he didn't buy me no backpack. He bought me a briefcase with Ninja Turtles on it. And I knew from then on, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be a businessman. He was raising a CEO, he was raising an entrepreneur. He didn't know what he was raising, but he was raising an entrepreneur with morals, with tact, ambition, because you can't go buy that in Walmart. You can't go say, I want ambition. Either you have it or you don't. I remember my first business venture, my first couple of ones was a paper route in Long Beach to Press Telegram. Papa John's Pizza, when it first came out, they took the business approach of selling free pizzas for $19.99 in these rich neighborhoods in the hills and go around and knock on doors. So we used to call it merch out. If you were sold out of merch in 3 weeks, I couldn't sell anything, so I had to go find out what was working for the top sellers. They would write it on the board. I was young before I went in the army. Write it on the board and do this, and I took my business model into Papa John's Pizza and going around into these neighborhoods and merching out. What my benefit was, I had churches. So if I didn't merch out that night, I would take my merch to the churches and sell out and give them free pizzas. And also, when I got better at it, I would buy my own merch, then take it to my community, give it out for free, let them try it out, and then come back. And then my next round, they would buy it. So eventually I became the number one seller in Orange County, doing that. And then I hit a rough patch after that. Went into county jail. After county jail, the towers fell, and I went straight into the army and never looked back.
Never look back. Describe your experience in the Army. What were you doing there?
I went into the time where it was the Iraq War. I did 55 months in combat. I lost a lot of good guys. I got injured myself. My first deployment was in 2003. I did 3 Iraq deployments. I did 2 Afghanistan. I learned a lot. I lost a lot. And I became a businessman in there too, because running your platoons is logistical and business situations too. So that's what it all entails in the military, especially in the combat arms and special operations and stuff like that. You're a real gentleman.
I love how you're saying that you're just applying these different learning experiences to your business, to your craft now, which, as I said in the beginning, is shining now. But as you
Yeah,
heard, it wasn't always easy. I know
no,
there's still a little gap in that story, so I need you to fill that in.
definitely, definitely. Well, after the military, I learned a lot in the military, met a lot of awesome people, but I got out, I was injured. So I was dealing with a lot of PTSD and TBI. And, I took my time to get myself better. After that, I put myself in school, which I didn't want to go to school at Kaiser. I started off in sports medicine in my associates in 2017.
Okay.
During that, I started a company called Rat Pack Worldwide Security, top security company in the world, top everything, and going from there and understanding who you are and starting that business. I wanted to give back to the community
Mm.
and wanted to get back and show that not only I'm security, I'm a bodyguard, but I'm intelligent. So I went to executive protection school, start building this company, ended up building it, got 2 Super Bowls, 2 Rolling Louds, got a lot of good contracts. And after COVID, I went bankrupt. And it put me back into my suicidal thoughts, PTSD, my TBI, all these things that entailed into this. I had to pivot.
Okay.
But that bankruptcy was hard because it connected to my mental health. And my mental health almost crashed again. Before I had started that company, I went to inpatient for my mental health for about 77 days because I didn't know I was that injured. My mind frame, everything I went through and stuff like that. So I had to rebuild that on top of that, trying to regain myself as a father and be a good father to my kids and what I could contribute to society without combat. So I went back to school, started doing that. When I went bankrupt, everything just came down, and God was like, "You ready to listen now? I told you that your gift is motivational speaking. Your passion is security. You could talk about it, but you was never supposed to be doing this." So I failed. I failed publicly in front of all my peers in Tampa, and it was a laughable thing. Everybody that I put into position left me by myself. I never got paid a paycheck for becoming a CEO for 4 years because I read in a book what Warren Buffett said. You can put your paycheck back into the company. So I never, and that was the year I was supposed to get paid. So I lost. When I lost with no money. And I was able to keep my business running and keep myself running because I'm retired military. So I was okay. I'm not gonna get a paycheck, but I'm retired, so I can suffer through this to build my company. But I didn't know business. So when I failed, I didn't know business like it was supposed to know business like everybody else. You think business is business and you think you know it because you're a hustler. You think you know it because you got aunties, uncles, moms, and dads. You gotta really go know the business. So I went back to school for my master's and I walked in July with my MBA and master's, understanding that not only do I know business, but I know it in that layman's term that okay, I can talk business now, and I can go around and talk to other entrepreneurships on both sides of the spectrum, the hustlers aspect and the school aspect, and we can meet in the middle. Not only did I did that, I start my doctorate in September for my
Yeah.
BBA in business because I had a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to go back and prove to people that when I failed, the people that counted me out, that hey, I'm here and I don't need that to do this. And when I pivoted, I became a motivational speaker, which my dad was already that. My grandfather, they're preachers, so it was easy. I started to write my books. I started to counsel. I started to coach, do all them things. And now you see me now going around and to all these different platforms and just telling the world about failures and what it looks like instead of painting a picture about the success and the shiny cars and the houses and the why. That's all good, but we need to teach our kids how to fail, when to fail, and what it looks like for people that look like me. So.
I love it. And that's one of the many goals of this show, to have entrepreneurs come on and share those tough times, because a lot of people see these Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos figures and they think that's entrepreneurship, but that's really not. Entrepreneurship is the hard work that goes in every single day that no one sees.
Right.
I certainly resonate with not getting a paycheck. Now I'm learning, I'm putting almost everything back into the business again and again. And I finally have, over the last 10 months, some real growth, some real opportunity to keep it going. So I've got to keep funneling it back into the business.
Right.
But you also touched on, of course, everyone knows my story, TBI. What were some breakthrough moments you had with your TBI? For example, for me, when I first got my memory back, when I'm not writing things on Post-its anymore, I'm starting to remember things. What's
Yeah.
something that remembers for you?
Don't lose the momentum with TBI. If you start something, keep it going, and it still lingers to this day because I just got done with my master and I was going to start my doctorate next year,
Mhm.
and something came to me and God was like, "No, don't lose the momentum. You will lose everything that you started because with traumatic brain injury, as you know, that you have to focus, hyper focus on the things, and when you forget, it's painful. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I knew you know what I'm saying? I knew I had it, but it's painful. So a lot of things that I do now is make sure I do my daily messages to myself and
Mhm.
understand who I am and never forget that standpoint, that how it feels. It'll never go away. You know, my traumatic brain injury, my PTSD will never go away, but it's just working through them. What I
Yes.
experienced as a child, it never go away, but it's just working with that and understanding that you can use all these modalities to get you back to who you are and always tap into that. You know, I do a lot of equine therapy. I do a lot of different modalities to keep me grounded to who I am as a 43-year-old man.
Absolutely. Working through it. It doesn't have to be a debilitating crutch, but we can use it to our advantage if we learn how to work with it. Really love what you said there. Let's talk more about this motivational speaking. How
Yeah,
can people see some of this stuff online? We're not done yet, everyone, but I do want to show some more light because what he's doing is remarkable. He is all in. As you've seen behind the scenes, the classroom effort with that momentum, I think everyone listening on who chose to go to school at some point can relate. Once you stop studying and you stop that certain regiment that you have built into your day, it's tough to get that back going again.
yeah. It's tough. It's really tough. And I tell people all the time, the narrative in the United States is that the Western knowledge is not accurate, and that's okay. You know, it's a lot of things that we have to learn. But I will tell the kids that's listening and people that are trying to go back to school or in school or thinking about quitting, education is not who's the smartest. It's who stays the longest. It's consistency, and consistency runs a lot in entrepreneurship. It's just keep doing the same thing every day. If you know, pay attention to my page, The Hood Motivator. I put out speeches every single day. I don't care if I get one like, 1,000 like, 100,000. It resonates with someone. It's
Yeah.
helping someone. So just stay the longest. And I wasn't the smartest in my master's program, but I stayed the longest. And now I walk with a 3.8. And now that's a message to people who are thinking that they can't do it with PTSD or TBI or things they're going through in their situations in life. You can do it if you want it. Just stay on that horse, just ride it. You know.
Great motivation. Just got to find a way to stick through
Yeah,
if and the
yeah.
thing that it's
Go ahead. And my motivation, just me traveling the world and speaking and having these conversations candidly with people and understanding that, hey, you can be that light, that beacon, just stand up. A lot of people don't know I deal with a lot of mental health things, and it may look good on one side of the camera, but the other side of the camera, these messages that I tell myself in these arenas I get in, I'm really talking to myself out loud. I'm really motivating myself to say, JayR, you can do it. And I tell people like that. I talk to entrepreneurs, I talk to military, I talk to business people, corporate America, I talk to students, I talk to social media influencers. I've helped everybody with this situation and let them know that no matter what, even when I get my doctorate, I will still have the Long Beach hat on. I will still be me because this is me. This is what it looks like. I believe that Green Lantern was that good movie when they saw that a Green Lantern was in every species of the world. I feel that I am that person in the Matrix from where I'm from.
I love it. We'll keep pushing. I can't wait to see all of the new accomplishments that come out for you. What would you say one or two of your daily hacks are? Some things that you do every single day. You just talked about consistency.
Yeah.
I've got mine, but I'm ready to learn from you.
Gym, I make sure that no matter what, if I don't feel it, I don't feel it, but I'm still in there. Waking up early, making my bed, drinking my green juice, making sure I'm on top of that, making sure that I'm tapping in with other motivational content and motivate like ET. Like people call me the mini or little ET, but also I have a different niche. I wear the hat. I got the Jordans. I'm from the hood, but I have a different story. But ET, I listen to him a lot. Shout out to him. And just my daily regiments is just making sure I stay tuned into who I am. I jump in the pool every couple of days. I do that. Make sure that I get my receptors out. Make sure I'm growing and make sure I tell myself, JayR, you're doing great.
That's right. You got to have that positive self-talk. It's easier said than done. We're all hard on ourselves, but finding a way to keep us afloat. I love the pool reference there. Anything for me, gym in the morning, nature during the day. I like to take a walk during the day a few times per day. I'm someone who's staring at the screen. I'm not back in school right now. One day I do hope to return. I've always had the itch for a doctorate, but the amount of student loans I still have, I've got to hold off a little bit. But
Yeah.
before I let you go here, JayR, I want to dive into which entrepreneur right now at this point of your career would help you most. If you want to then think back on who could have helped you most at different points, I'd love to dive into that. But right now, who should we tag in this episode when it goes live? Of
You could tag a few. Well, I would say Cardone, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee,
course.
Eric Thomas, and Zig Ziglar. Like just watching them guys do what they do, and they build a business too, and understanding. And I wish I could have a round table with them or be in a room with them and let them know I'm coming. And I've been watching. And people always ask me, JayR, how much money you need to keep your vision going. I just said, just put me in the right rooms. And when I start saying that, God started to put me in the right rooms. Like tomorrow, I have a private event with the government talking about how they can recruit to the military. And I got invited to
Nice.
that. So it's
Nice.
like, okay, now I see it's spinning because all I need is a couple of more wins and I can because I'm transitioning and just something that I am thinking about too is when I went bankrupt, it was hard for me financially. I lost my Range Rover, I got evicted and all that stuff. So I went back to school and got my PMP certification, became a project manager, started to make six figures. And God was like, okay, you did that already. You ready to do your gift, speaking, coaching full time and quit that six-figure job? And can you survive? And I'm like, God, like, I like the money. I'm telling you what to do. So I'm listening. So I'm in that 30-day window of, okay, God, what do I do? Is this what I'm going to do? And walking away from that six-figure job that I always wanted to go create that six-figure was something I love.
Having the courage to believe in yourself to do that is the hardest part. Was not quite six figures yet, but when I left corporate finance, there was a steady paycheck on Friday. I was comfortable financially, but I was uncomfortable everywhere else in my life, and I had to make those changes. It all stemmed from being unhappy with what I did for work. Moving forward here, JayR, if you could pick one place that you haven't spoke yet, where do you want to speak? Let's put that into fruition.
Oh man. So I'll be local because I want to speak at the Rise conference next year. I'm
Okay.
speaking at, I would love to speak there at the Tampa Bay Convention Center at the Amalie Arena. That's where I see myself in the next year or two, selling out arenas and just letting people know who I am. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I do in my books, and be as much a parent to them, a mirror reflection. Let them know that hey, this is the real. This ain't. I'm not doing this because of social media. This is my life.
You got to be authentic, and I give you
Yeah.
that. You certainly are being your true self. I want to thank you so much, man. Coming on the
Thank
show, catching up with me. These are a
you.
little shorter than a speaking engagement event. I try to get right to the point for the listeners because their time is valuable. So is yours. You
Yeah.
crushed it. But before I get your contact info, you said books. Do we have a new
Yeah.
book on the way?
Yes,
Got
it's
to show you
dropping.
some love there. Let's talk
Yes,
about it.
definitely. It's dropping at the end of this year, and I got a TED talk coming. It's called "The Dark Days as an Entrepreneur, as a Combat Veteran." That's coming out first, and then the second book is "A Good Heart Don't Pay Bills." It's coming out second. So I have that. I have a conference August 24th in Tampa at Crossover Church for motivational speakers, for coaches, for licensed therapists. It's a huge event. It's on Eventbrite right now, and you can find me at the Hood Motivator at Instagram and my YouTube because I drop daily videos every day.
Definitely follow him. Whatever my social media timers are still on, the algorithm always gives me him at the top too. So I always show a quick double tap there. But he is consistent with what he said. And I really respect that being in entrepreneurship for now almost the 10-year mark. I know how hard it is to do the same, and he's showing up every day. So thank you for all you brought to the show. Everyone out there, be sure to check him out on social media. He is on there every day, all platforms. And I am at Vincent A. Lancy on all social. The show is at That Entrepreneur Show on all social and all podcast platforms. So be sure to subscribe for the next episode. And with that, we are signing off today to Tampa. Guys, JayR, thanks so much.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.